So in principle, with you descending to 1,000.
Doing their thing. And so relatively
Vegas
busy day
2603
here.
Boston,
Obviously
approach, good morning,
sounds,
Boston, 0300. Two information,
departure.
Charlie Curran, expect the ILS running 4 right approach.
Down to 14,000 American, please.
Main 2603, I'm not sure if I told you that, 17-1000, expect the ILS running 4 right approach.
Okay, so from our takeoff performance earlier on, what we'll do just now is we'll figure out where we're at. So 09, we cleared takeoff plus 35, so we'll just punch that in just now. What we'll then do is just punch the flaps, and there's our V speeds there, 136 is V2, so we'll pop up here to the MCP. We'll get the V2 entered, which is 136. We'll set the heading of 090. We'll set the initial altitude as 8,000. What we'll do is we'll get the FS2 crew on the go as well, and we'll get the first officer start getting things set up for us.
American 2603 to center, maintain 7,000 now.
Maintain 7,000, American 2603.
Flight 4628, race for tax.
Southwest 4628, runway 900, taxi to Kilo Mike, cross 194 left.
Josephine, Kilo Mike and cross 4 left.
American 3 Heavy, welcome to Boston, taxi on to runway 33 right, hold short, runway 4 left.
50 right, hold short, 4 left, American 3 Heavy.
Delta Cargo A145 Heavy, wind 03011, runway 4 right, clear for takeoff.
Glide slow. Pull
Clear for
up.
takeoff from Cargo A145
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Sink rate.
American 3 Heavy, cross 4 left, turn left on November.
Terrain. Pull up.
Cross 4 left,
Don't
November,
sink.
American 3 Heavy.
Don't sink. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Gear. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Terrain. Glide slow.
American 1274,
Bank angle.
29 line up and wait. Line up and rally now, break, that's 1264.
400, 300, 200, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Too low. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Terrain. Terrain.
American 1274, wind 03011, runway 9 clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff, runway 9 right on 1254. American 3 Heavy, cross running 4 left, Alpha to your gate, have a good day.
I'll just cross 1 by right and Alpha to the gate, American 3 Heavy.
Not for the walk around.
2000 Cargo A145 Heavy, radar contact, climb and maintain 14, say altitude.
Climb and maintain 14,000 and passing 100. From Sky 8145.
Thank you. American 1274, radar contact, climb maintain 14,000 to altitude. Radar close to 15 contact, climb 14,000. Thank you, American 2603, present heading, intercept the runway 4 right localizer.
Intercept 4 right localizer, and 2603.
American 2603, thank you, descend maintain 4,000.
And was approach to W295 into at 13,000, going to 11,000, heading 060, visitors for the approach.
American 2603, sorry, you were stepped on. Descend maintain 4,000.
17 4,000, American 2603.
JetBlue 295, Boston approach, good morning, Boston 23002, expect the ILS runway 4 right approach, descend maintain 6,000.
The 17,6,000, we will expect the ILS for west approach, and let's see.
American 1274, for now maintain 5,000 for traffic. So again for American 1264. American 1274, for now maintain 5,000 for traffic. 5,000 American 1264. JetBlue 295, turn left heading 360.
Left heading 380, JetBlue 295.
American 1274, traffic 10 to 11 o'clock, 5 miles, turning southeastbound, Boeing 777, climbing out of 6,500. Traffic inside American 1274. American 1274, thank you, I'll have higher for you shortly, caution wing turbulence. Higher 1274. American 2603, 4 miles from 18, cross 20 at 4,000, cleared ILS 24 right approach.
Good morning, ILS, approach.
Okay, it's going to be a standard pushback and start off from the stand. Taxi route will be assigned by ATC. It'll be a left seat takeoff using degrated thrust, landing at 8 times 5 takeoff. Anti-ice will be off. In the event of a malfunction prior to V1, I will either call reject or continue. Standard low-speed reject.
American 23, Boston approach, good morning, Boston 3002, set the ILS 24 right
conduct
approach.
a high-speed reject in the case of an engine fire or failure, predicted wind shear warning, or if there's any condition that makes the aircraft unable or unsafe to take into the air.
American 23, descend maintain
Close the thrust
6,000.
levers, disconnect the auto throttle, apply maximum manual
Down
braking
6,000
to verify the
minutes,
operation of the RTO auto brake. Apply
American
maximum
1274, climb
verify
maintain
the extension
8,000.
of the speed brake and bring the aircraft to a complete
6,000,
stop.
American 1274.
We will then run the appropriate checklist and evaluate our options. If you can monitor my actions and make the standard reject takeoff calls,
JetBlue 295, set maintain 4,000.
before advising ATC.
4,000, JetBlue 295.
If the calls to continue, I will continue the takeoff as per standard company procedures. We will
American
follow
1274, climb maintain 14,000.
We are under our maximum.
14,000, American
so we are
1274.
okay to make an immediate return. Ongoing roll. The departure route will be via the ATC assigned SID, complying with all published speed and altitude restrictions. No noise abatement procedures.
Boston approach, to Heaven 719 Alpha Sierra, waiting check.
Minus master.
79 Alpha 29, Tech Bravo, Kilo Mike, Clause 24.
The current weather poses a threat. We won't rush any procedures today.
Check your runway niner, via Bravo, Kilo Mike, custom for left.
Departure
Kilo Alpha Sierra.
Security and safety checks are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Okay.
American 2603, wind 03011, runway 4 right, clear land.
American 2603.
Hi, here's the fuel slip.
American 23, after Goshi, intercept the runway 4 right, localizer, maintain 6,000.
After Goshi, capture ILS 4 right, American 23.
American 23, maintain 6,000.
So maintain 6,000, maintain American 23.
Lufthansa Cargo 8145, heavy contact Boston Center 134.7, have a good flight.
Longster 134.7, from Chicago 8145. Thank you for the cigarette.
American 1274, contact 134.7, have a good flight. All points center right, as well as this part, see ya.
Safety inspection checklist stand before start checklist to the line.
Circle 295, descend maintain 3000.
Safety inspection checklist and before start checklist to the line.
Safety inspection checklist. Surfaces
Checked.
and jobs.
Checked.
Status.
On.
Battery. Electric hydraulic pumps.
Set and checked.
Circle 295 to right heading 010, going to low pleasant.
Down.
Lever.
Right heading 010, Daniel localizer.
Safety inspection checklist complete.
Circle 295, you're 900 miles from Nabo. Maintain at or above 3000 until established on the low pleasant. Cleared ILS 24 right approach.
Removed.
Gear pins. Light
Checked.
test.
Cleared ILS 4 right approach, maintain 3000, do established.
Chest is 100%.
American 23, you're
On.
12 miles from Winnie. Cross Winnie at or above 4000.
Normal
Cleared
auto.
ILS 24 right approach.
Pumps on.
Fuel.
Cleared ILS 4 left approach,
Set
American
and checked.
23.
Emergency exit lights.
Armed.
Boston American 1288, information Charlie clearing up to Fort Worth, please.
American 1288, Boston approach. Good morning. You're cleared to the Dallas Fort Worth Airport. Blazer 3 departures and as follows. Climb via sit
Set and checked.
and squawk.
On.
Window 8.
I lost it. Squawk
Normal.
3431.
Air conditioning and
Pax
pressure
auto
station.
leads on. Pax
All
auto
locations
leads
Fort
on. Set.
Worth Airport via the Blizzard 3 departure and
Set
then
checks.
up climb via the sit with you and 3431 in the box, American 1288.
RTO.
American 1288, read back is correct. Push back extension
Set
advisory.
checked.
Taxi information. Charlie's correct.
Set.
Parking brake.
At the minute we have information
Set
Charlie, American 1288.
Real well
Checked.
fire warning. Radios. Radar.
Set and
and
checked.
transponder. Rudder.
3 and 0.
Takeoff
Discussed.
briefing. PA.
Complete.
FMC CDU.
Set and checked.
N1 and
Set and checked.
Stabilizer trim.
5.2 units set. Airplane mode and stowed.
Wilson Approach, Cashel 030 Rescue, passing flight level 155.
American 2603, welcome aboard. Turn on Yankee.
Hi guys, here's the load.
Thanks.
American 23.
Talk to you soon.
Control 029, Boston approach. Good morning, Boston 3002. Verify you're on the Ocean 3 arrival. Runway 4 right transition.
Cashel 029, Ocean 3 arrival, runway 04 right, transition.
Control 029, thank you. Expect the ILS 24 right approach.
Expect ILS 4 right approach.
Double 530 Boston approach. Good morning, Boston 3002. Information file is correct. Expect the ILS 24 right. American 2603, well, join runway 33 right, hold short, runway 4 left.
Come close. We'll be right, one short.
Alright.
American 23.
American 23, wind 03011, runway 4 right, clear to land.
Hold on, American 23, 4 right.
Okay, so looks like the last of the bags are almost on. What we'll do is just pull the camera and have a look.
Okay, Route 95, we're going around. We're hanging from us with the localizer.
Going around there.
295, yes, I see that. When able, climb maintain 3000.
Okay, so that's more or less done now. So we'll
Okay,
go ahead and
3000,
get
Route 295.
the aircraft on go.
American 2603, cross runway 4 left, till not on November.
Clear call from the 3 left, around November, left on November, American 363.
Travel 9 Alpha Sierra, wind 03011, fly runway heading, runway 9er, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff, runway 9er, and flight runway heading. 9 Alpha Sierra.
Doors numbers.
Delta 295, what kind of approach would you like now?
Anti-collision's on, and we'll give air traffic a call now as well. Boston Southwest 267, Alpha 19 with Charlie, ready for push and start.
That was 2627, pushback is approved, advise right
Shall approved, or advise follow taxi Southwest 267.
Delta 295, would you like to try the ILS one more time?
Yes, sir, but I would like to join it with the Mike India Lima Tango Tango.
Delta 295, maintain 170 knots or less.
170 knots or less. Delta 295.
Delta 295, flighting 070, join the localizer.
Below the line.
American 2603, cross running 15 right, Alpha to the gate, have a good day.
Air conditioning
Center
packs.
check.
American 2603, have a good day.
Anti-collision light.
On.
79 Alpha, sir, radar contact,
Set.
contact 10,000, stay altitude.
Transponder.
Stand by.
Coming through
First
800.
air checklist complete.
I'm maintain
Start
10,000.
sequences 2, then 1.
Yeah.
Check.
Delta 295, can you maintain heading 180?
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, on behalf of the flight crew and staff,
Can you repeat that for Delta 295?
aircraft, and thank you for
Delta
choosing us for
295,
your
need you to
flight
stop
travel
turning in
period.
random circles.
If there's
Flying
anything that we can do to
180.
make your flight more enjoyable, please ask the cabin crew. Thank you.
Heading 180, Delta 295. Casual 0 today, request 4%. Casual 110.
Casual 0 tonight, you're supposed to descend via the ocean before arrival, so descend via the published altitude, please.
Okay, Casual 0 tonight, we will descend through the constraints for the ocean for arrival.
American 188, Boston approach, good morning, Boston, Silver 3002, Charlie's parents, at the ILS 24 at approach.
Hey, Charlie, and let's back the ILS 4, let's
Starting engine number 2.
JetBlue 295, turn left heading 070.
Left heading 070, 295.
And 2.
Oil pressure.
Jetting fuel.
Casual 0 tonight, I'll just give you vectors. Descend maintain 6,000, turn left heading 230. Vectors ILS 48.
Turn left heading 230, Casual 0 today.
Casual 0 tonight, affirmative, descend maintain
Number 1.
6,000.
Check.
Casual 0 tonight, check 30 below.
American 1888, maintain 170 knots, then descend maintain 4,000.
Starter cutout. Tube stable.
Tower 9 Alpha Fish, and right heading 180.
There are several emergency
Turn right, 180, 9 Alpha Fish.
2 aft and 2 over each wing. Please take a moment to locate the exit nearest you. In some cases, the exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you toward the exit. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide, which may also be attached and used as a life raft. Oxygen and air pressures are always being monitored. In the event of an decompression, an oxygen mask will automatically appear in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth and secure the elastic band behind your head. Breathe
Starter
normally.
cutout.
Although the bag does
Casual
not
295, descend maintain 2,000, and join the
if you're traveling with a
localizer.
child or someone who requires
One
assistance,
stable.
2000, Daniel Localizer.
keep your mask on until an uniformed crew member advises you to remove it. In the event of an emergency, please assume the bracing position.
So that Alpha Fish, security, just my third turn left heading 090. I'm going to take you north around the airport.
Your feet are flat on the floor.
Roger, turning left 090, 10 off Sierra.
Flight controls check.
Delta 029, turn left heading 215.
Flip over your head. Press the straps around your waist and adjust the
Careful, 029, turn left heading 215.
red cord only when leaving the aircraft. If you need to refill the vest, blow it to the mouthpiece.
What's a very good morning, the American 333 with you on the ground, because I'm up here to the height.
Slip your arms to the straps.
Before taxi, check this.
We remind you that
Dragon 333, miles approach, good morning, and clear to the Los Angeles Airport via launch with 4 departures and as follows. Climb via squawk 3432.
all other safety information in the card located in the seat pocket in front of you. We strongly suggest you read it before.
Back to us, all bleeds
If
on.
you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask one of our crew members.
Wash over.
We wish you all.
Off.
Dragon 23, Boston, walking to Boston, Foxtrot, hold short, running 4 left.
Check.
Flight controls.
Flight
114
requires.
West 923.
Maybe not. That's why you need a checklist.
And cleared by the loss of 4 departure, then as far climb via the speed, it's walking 3432, right?
79 Alpha Sierra, turn left heading 330. Turn left 330, now Alpha Sierra.
5 required. 5 selected.
American 1888, turn left heading 360, vectors for your
Stabilizer
descent.
trim.
Idle.
Start to the
Cross
cross.
360, American 1888.
Potential 029 descent, maintain 3000.
Before taxi checklist complete.
Careful, 029, descend
Clear on the
maintain
left.
3000.
American 23, cross 24 left Alpha to the gate, have a good day.
Cross 4 right after the gate, American 23, thanks.
Southwest 267, ready for taxi.
JetBlue 295, 1 mile from Mill, cleared out last 24 right approach.
Speed hours 4 right approach, JetBlue 295, thank you.
Southwest 267, squawk 3424, please.
3424, a mistake. Southwest 267.
Bravo 9 Alpha Sierra, turn left heading 270. Turn left 2002, correction 270, Alpha Sierra. JetBlue 295, wind 03011, 194 right, clear land.
4 right, clear land, JetBlue 295.
National Aircraft Delta, Crane Boston, Boston, turn 3003. American Circle 3, your rebacking is correct. Advise this frequency rate for pushback. Information Delta not current.
So you're ready for push information, Delta is code, American 333.
Southwest 267, runway 9, taxi via Kilo Mike, cross runway 4 left.
Kilo Mike, cross 4 left, the runway 9, Speedbird, correction, Southwest 267.
American 1888, turn left heading 310.
Okay, American 1888.
De Havilland 9 Alpha Sierra, when able to direct Bostock, sorry for the delay. No worries, direct Bostock, 9 Alpha Sierra. Control 029, turn right heading 310.
Careful, 029, right heading 310.
Okay, so we'll take us around this area here.
JetBlue 530, flighting 215, descend and maintain 5000, vectors out left runway 4 right approach.
Aircraft on approach over there.
American 1888, turn left heading 180, quick vectors for sequence.
180, American 1888.
Control 029, descend and maintain 2000, turn right heading 350.
Careful, 029, 2350.
JetBlue 530, maintain 210 knots or less. American 1888, turn left heading 070.
Left ear 7, American 1888.
First spot, the Boston Vector, which is the Emerald Immediate. I'm heading 040 and 11,000 feet.
American 18, Christian American 1657, boss approach, good morning, boss, on number 3003, expect the Alice 94 at approach, descend maintain 6,000.
Yes, number 3003, landing 4 right down 6,000, I can 1667.
Circle 295, welcome to Boston, Royal November, cross, running 4 left.
Right on Midway, close, 4 left. Circle 295.
Pressure 029, to right heading 010, going to the localizer.
Pressure 029, until set to the localizer, thank you.
American 1888, descend maintain 2,000, maintain 170 knots or greater.
170 knots or greater, and 2,000 American 1888.
American 1888, actually make that a hard 170 knots, please.
Hard 170 knots, American 1888. American 333, ready for pushback.
American 333, pushback onto that, go through, advisory taxi.
Pushback onto that, go through, advisory ready for taxi, American 333.
Casual 029, 3 miles from Milton, maintain 2,000 until established on the localizer, cleared out west running 4 right approach.
Set strobes on.
Casual 029, maintain 2,000 until established on the localizer, wasteful.
Approaching 0.
Triple 530, maintain 170 knots, turn right heading 310. Triple 530, thank you, descend, maintain 3,000. American 6057, slot plane 360 vectors for your descent, descend, maintain 5,000.
That's awesome, I'm heading 360 right, 367.
So 295 cross, full off, no need to report that. Casual 029, wind 03012, running 4 right, clear to land.
Casual 029, clear to land, thank you.
Seem to have got herself a little bit.
American 1888, maintain 150 knots to left.
Taxi around here and on to 9. Perfect.
Turn around here now, American
Before takeoff, checklist to the line.
Southwest 267, wind 03012, running 9, clear for takeoff.
Clear takeoff runway 09, you're Southwest 267. Checked.
Triple 530, turn right heading 350.
5, green light.
Stabilizer trim.
American 1888, join the localizer.
Take off
Refuse.
briefing.
Turn localizer 1888.
9.
Boston approach today at section point 13 is descending the underbroken shore route.
Cabin.
Secure.
Flight 1013, Boston approach, good morning, Boston, 3003, information Delta current, after Goshi, intercept the runway 4 right, localizer.
Cabin crew. Seats for departure.
3003 after Goshi intercept Island, shore 4 right, localizer.
MCP. Transport.
TA.
American 6057, 17, 4,000.
Landing in strobes.
On.
Retracts.
4,061.
Before takeoff,
Triple
checklist.
530 vectors to the localizer for spacing, descend maintain 2,000.
On runway 09.
American 1888, you're 2 miles from Mill. Maintain 2,000, established on the localizer, clear to Island 24 right approach.
Clear
Checked.
to Island 4 right approach, American 1888.
7295 cross, runway 15 right, taxi to Gavia, Alpha, have a good day.
Set takeoff thrust.
Hey, close 155 time. Okay, yeah, Alpha. Thank you. Yeah, 95.
Approaching
Triple 530, right heading 070, on the localizer.
Takeoff thrust set. Indications normal.
American 1657, turn left
Check.
heading
80 knots.
220. American 1888, wind 03012. You are falling, going to 37 on 2 mile final, runway 4 right, clear to land.
4 right, clear to land, number 2, going to 737, American 1888.
Double 530, maintain 15, pressure maintain 160 knots.
Positive climb.
Southwest 267, radar contact, last at 14,000 to altitude.
14,000, passing 700, Southwest 267.
Thank you, JetBlue 530, you're 5 miles from Belt, maintain 2000, close touch on low pleasure, clear down, runway 4 right approach, maintain 160 knots. Flight shift 4013, maintain 170 knots or less. 172, less than flight shift 4013. American 6057, less than 130. Canadian 229 miles, approach Bob, Fox over 3003, stay altitude.
K9 at 9,000.
Canadian 229, thank you, so the LS running 4 right approach.
ILS 4 approach, we're ready.
Laps 1.
JetBlue 530, maintain 160 knots to South Belt. American 18, American 6057, maintain 170 knots.
Speed checked. Flaps up.
Pleasure 4013, maintain 190 knots if possible.
190 knots,
Flaps up.
Yeah, approaching 64 miles approach on frequency.
After takeoff, checklist.
Stand by.
Canadian 229, maintain 210 knots.
Down to 210, not to 229.
After takeoff, checklist.
JetBlue 5103012, runway 4 right to the line.
Control our casual 0 to 95, check for your assessment to the plate, break control off. Good, that will take you.
Okay.
0 to 90, call, would you like to text your ramp or get disconnect from there?
No, just disconnect, thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Anytime, take care.
Alright, so should be coming out of this pad any minute now, according to the
Pleasure
forecast.
4013, you're 2 miles from Wayne, cross 20 out about 4,000, clear out, 24 out approach.
City off out on one sort of out there.
approach, 4,000. American 6057 to maintain 3,000. American 1888, welcome to Boston, Foxtrot Alpha to the left, cross 24.
Alpha to ramp 1888.
Southwest 627, contact Boston Center 127, have a good flight.
1347 Boston Center, Southwest 267, thanks for the service, catch you next time, bye.
American 6057 vector through the localizer for spacing.
Delta Whiskey, supposed to contact Boston Coast for your landing current 118.25. Let me check with the meter signal.
Clearance balanced.
Enter.
Pumps on.
Number 69 Delta Whiskey,
Lights are
runway
off. EPU is off. Pressurization is set. Recall checked. Would you like the fasten seatbelt sign to
Okay. No.
Roger. 10 checks complete.
Boston Center, good morning to you, Southwest 297 with you out of 11,800 for 4,000.
Boston Center, you can have a 719 around 0 with you. Enter.
Good to go.
Number 719 Alpha Sierra Boston Center, say zero location again.
On the altitude, 14 miles east of Bravo Fox.
Number 719 Alpha Sierra Boston Center, good morning. Alright, we got 10,000. Boston Center, good morning, Delta 2743, climbing through 112 to 17,000. Delta 2743, Boston Center, good morning, climbing maintain flight level 210, crew direct narrative, haven't done it already. Roger that, up to 210, direct and Maverick, Delta 2743.
Boston, good morning, Southwest 267 with you, 14,000.
Level 267 Boston Center, good morning. Call maintain for level 3.
Climb for level 380, Southwest 267, thanks so much.
Okay, go ahead then.
National line 385, turn right heading 180. Roger, turn right heading 180, next to
Flight level 3807.
Over 919 over Alpha, turning maintain flight level 230. Flight level 230, 919, November Alpha.
Southwest 4044, ready to go on the station.
Southwest 4044, by the way, heading was takeoff in 340.
Byron, heading runway 62, Southwest 4044.
Southwest 1120, I don't remember giving you a exact declared good. I told you to put that and set it up, but really just had the jacket in around as well. That's okay. That was the kind of the issue we had to reverse.
There we go, Southwest SWA delivery. Just coming out of the SUP here from Boston. Pretty horrible on the ground down there. Very much similar to what we had the other night out of Orlando and into Miami. Weather over in Chicago is quite a bit better, to say the least. Oh. Transition altitude standard set. There we are, through 18. So yeah, it should be nice skies over in Chicago. It looks like it should be smooth flying all the way now though. On the weather radar here you can see we're still picking up a little bit of green through our routing, but that's very much fading away compared to what we've got out to our right hand side. Air traffic control with Boston Center on the background there. Incredibly busy airspace just now over the Boston area, so just paying a little bit extra attention there when we're flying through the cloud in particular, especially when we don't have any visual reference point as such.
Southwest 2912, you're looking for clearance from Baltimore? Southwest 2912, Roger, stand by, you're number 1.
Just come up in Highland here now at this point here, and we're about to make a left-hand turn, so we'll put that to 10 so we don't turn too heavy, so the cabin crew can actually walk through the cabin, do the service.
National 9385, turn right heading 270. Roger, turn right heading 270, National 93.
What we'll do now is we'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. It looks like it should be relatively nice and smooth all the way up to 38,000. There we go, nice contrail there out of the back of the aircraft. Completely moisture actually, and random fact for you, you can actually drink what comes out the back of the aircraft at this altitude. It's pretty much just water, albeit dirty water, but just water nevertheless. And there we go, the contrast between the very nice stratosphere above us, tons darker as we get higher, and the overcast cloud below. And good bit to note here is if you look where the engine is and where the actual contrails are coming out, you can see that the wind is hitting us in this direction from essentially from left to right across the view that we're looking at. Right to left in stage terms, or if you're in the aircraft, but from the camera you can see it's coming from the left hitting it, and that's why it's slightly displaced. So we can see it comes out here and it's essentially getting blown, and the same again on this side. And we can see the circular motion out the back of the turbines. They've been out now, and the aircraft is going to accelerate. We can see here our new point. Make this slightly bigger actually on our primary flight display. We can see here the new point which the autopilot selected. So that's selected 255 knots. We're currently doing 220, and we can see the nose is starting to pitch down, so we can increase speeds, and the altitudes still increasing slightly, but nowhere near as much. Again, we're climbing up 38,000 feet as seen here, and we're currently passing through 33,500. Compass here at the bottom, showing our heading set on the autopilot of 285, which we can see backed up here on the mode control panel of 285 degrees. Our actual true heading through the air just now though 294, so that's how you know straight away there's a bit of wind hitting us. Bring up the navigation display here. No, there we go. And we can see our aircraft's position here, marked as the triangle, and the magenta line that we're following, running direct to this waypoint, Charlie Alpha Mike at the moment. We're estimating there at 1532.8 Zulu, which we can see in the clock 1524 down here. So we know about 8 minutes until we're going to be abeam that point. And we know it's 61.5 miles. Wind information here just now, the system's picking up some wind, so it's picking up 89 knot wind from area 240, so it's pushing the aircraft in this direction from left to right. And our ground speeds, our lower airspeed's 255, as seen here on the primary flight display. Our ground speed's 381 as we accelerate over the ground. With true airspeeds of 440, so we're fairly doing a bit of speed here as we climb, and the two VORs we're tuned in there with the VOR lines. A couple of differences on board Southwest compared to certain European air carrier. What we'll do is let's pull that volume down slightly for you, but one difference is the Q style here on the primary flight display. The UK operator, we have a kind of T which is broken apart. Southwest have the Q. Down here, the engine instruments, M1, these two here, this is the big blade at the front of the engine, and we're doing 100.4, so using a fair amount of power. EGT, the exhaust gas temperature, 703, so 703 degrees for our exhaust gas temperature at the moment, so yeah, you could. And our fuel flow 3.9, as long as those don't vary too much, that's fine. Fuel quantity 5.93 and 5.91 in each of the wing tanks, 11,800 pounds of fuel, roughly, give or take. Our N2 is the inside combustion chamber, so the inner blade, and we have oil pressures, temperatures, quantities and so on, and a slight vibration as well. And there's a different vibration here, 1.0, 0.9 and 0.7. See, that one's slightly less now. They'll fluctuate slightly, our turbines, so that's no concern. Coming up through 36 now, we'll shortly be levelling off, and the aircraft will begin its cruise power. On the flight management computer here, you can see our climb information. If we put the cruise, we know we're going to be decimal 786 Mach, so a percentage of the speed of sound, 38,000 feet, and we can expect to use around 90.4% power. Our en route wind, and how much fuel we can expect when we arrive at Chicago Midway Airport, 3.9 to 3,900 pounds, which is plenty. And again, progress page with some information. 1527 Zulu, estimate 1720 Zulu, so exactly 2 hours down route. There we go, highlighted here as we're now 1,000 feet from our level off altitude, just in case we wanted to continue climbing, which today we of course won't want to do. The engines now starting to power down slightly because we no longer have to be climbing away from gravity. So if we were to think about the aircraft, in fact I'll just pull this up just now whilst we're cruising along. If we were to think of an aircraft here, it's a little physics lesson, and this is our aircraft. I know, really shoddy. There we go. We have multiple forces operating on the plane. So we have, firstly, in this direction we have thrust, in this direction we have drag, so anything like, you know, even the tail areas and everything, they'll essentially be operating as a drag as well as lift, but there will be a certain degree of drag. We have our lift, so that's mainly the wings, so when the air is going over the wing and that's pushing it downwards for us. And of course we have essentially our weight, but we also have a degree of gravity as well, which is causing the aircraft to be pulled down. So essentially just now you could say that our thrust is greater than our essentially our lift, our drag, and our weight and gravity. Well, weight and gravity is this also equal to lift, because we're no longer climbing. So there we go, there's a little bit of a physics lesson chucked in. I would probably put everyone to sleep now, but that's why we're remaining in the air just now. little bit of turbulence just now. You can see the aircraft just moving around ever so slightly in the air. Of course, there isn't just an annoying entity. It can be quite thick. Not really picking up anything from Boston just now. It's relatively quiet on the comms. See some towering cloud even if I spit out just out there, so that'll be quite high. You wouldn't want to fly through that, that's for sure. They'll be picked up on the weather radar though, so it must not be returning that much that dense the clouds, but certainly high, and that's probably due to the weather system. We can see it here, there's a red spot there. There we go. Yeah, cloud as far as the eye can see. So back up to the outside of the aircraft now. The sun there. 737-700s, Southwest, a slightly shorter version of the 737 than we were flying the other day with the American Airlines. One of the key distinctions is obviously the length straight away. It's a much shorter aircraft. The tail though is similar size to the larger 800, so it's sometimes looks a little bit out of proportion when on the smaller fuselage. Another telltale sign is the amount of emergency exits. If we come in a little bit, we can see we have our main doors, one at the front, one at the back, well, two at the front, two at the back, one on each side. But whereas in the 800s we have two overwing emergency exits, on this one here we just have the one on each side. And of course there's the instructional arrows there how to get out of the aircraft. What would happen actually in real life if we had to evacuate, we would lower the flaps to 40 degrees, so it essentially gives you a bit of a slide. Still a fair jump to be honest to the ground, but it will give you somewhat a slide. And there's the movement area there. Bobby flaps. Landing gear there, all up and stowed. Unlike the Airbuses and larger Boeing aircraft, essentially have coverings, our landing gear just retracts in like so. Large rudder tail fin there, and our elevators here. And I mentioned the other night we were talking about the APU. That's the APU outlets there. So the back of the aircraft, although we only have two engines, one on each wing, we also technically have a third engine, which is computer controlled, and that's the auxiliary power unit that's here, which draws in air and essentially provides electrical power and bleed air, so pressure for the engine start sequence. We come down here and essentially you can see a hole in the aircraft here. So we're at 38,000 feet as a whole. Now this is the diaphragm for the aircraft. This is what's allowing air to come in and out and essentially pressurizing the aircraft. There's a big radome just within this here, and essentially it's constantly adjusting for the air pressure, and that's essentially what stops the aircraft from going pop. And the area for the toilets to be emptied there. Not something we do in mid-flight, contrary to what people think. And as well as the flaps at the back of the wing, we also have leading slats here, which I'll show you during the descent into Midway. Oh, the clouds clear in there, nice little view of North America below us. Not the foggiest what those rivers are. And yep, Southwest aptly name every aircraft. This one is Penguin 1, and the black cockpit window, the captain's seat. And whilst we cruise away just now, I'm just going to go grab a quick coffee or a drink, and we'll let the aircraft just manage itself. I'm just going to have control over to the artificial intelligence, the FS2 crew first officer, who will monitor the aircraft just now and essentially be responsible for anything. You have control.
I have control.
And what we'll do is we'll let him do an announcement as well, so down here.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the flight deck, we've reached our cruise altitude and expect a good flight for today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your flight. Thank you.
Use this panel here, it's the mic selector, so that's what the microphone, the headsets is currently selected for. So this is selected for VHF1, which is the main comms for air traffic on my side here. So this is the VHF1 panel, VHF2 panel up here, VHF3 with one in the overhead. High frequency, don't really use that much. Use that if you go over the Atlantic or Pacific. Flight and service, so that's for speaking to cabin crew or ground crew on the ground during the turnaround, refuelers, dispatch, the pushback, things like that, and the PA when we're doing our announcements over the tannoy, and that's what we're listening into. So it's two-way comms. Obviously with the PA, there's not really much to listening to. It's just in case you'd like to listen back to it at the same time, so some sort of feedback. And in terms of the microphone, there's one button here you'd press to talk. Alternatively, there's a button on the yoke. There's also a further button just there, so RT. And you just hold that switch forward to transmit to air traffic. The cockpit door there, all secured and everything after 9/11. It's unlockable by this here, so one little knob will go down quickly, and there we go. There we can unlock it, and we can deny access. And deny access is because what happens if someone's trying to get into the cockpit door, essentially we'll be notified first, and we can deny them access even if they've got the code, just an extra security. One problem with that is the Germanwings Airbus, which went down in the Alps. Obviously the first officer denying access to the captain. And you can see the detail here as well. It's pretty dirty. It's certainly a working aircraft, as are most aircraft, just like most public transport vehicles. But certainly it's it's a good representation of onboards, and of course the sheepskin seats there, which are inflatable. Usable. So it's certainly in water and so on. And the jumper seat there as well. Anyway, yeah, that drink now. I'll leave you just now. We are just cruising along, 38,000 feet even. That heading there, you can see the difference there, displacement of where we are due to the current winds. I'll bring our range up as well, so you can see we've got to go all the way along here and up to get to our destination. So we've got a fair little bit to go. I can put it on this mode as well, and it will show you where we are in relation to the point we just left and the point we're going, and we're heading westerly. And you can see the clouds starting to break up a bit now. Some nice high altitude cloud up there as well in front of us. Might be a bit of convection though, so we may have a little bit of rough air. We'll just keep an eye on that though as we get closer. Ladies and gents, thanks so much for your patience. I'm back again, and good update for you. We've managed to cross a good few hundred miles now. If anything, actually, we've managed to travel in the region of 930 miles since we last spoke, so we're doing a good fair speed. We've got a bit of a headwind here as well with the 277 at 70, so we're doing, engines are pushing us through the air quite nicely. We're just going to be prepping for our arrival into Chicago Midway just now. Chicago Midway being the smaller airport in the Chicago metropolitan area. Behind O'Hare, the big massive international hub. Of course, Southwest being low fares, we'll be operating into Midway. So I'm just pulling up our arrival just now, which we planned for earlier on before the flight, and we planned for the Pang 3 RNAV arrival into Midway. Our estimated runway, or planned for runway at the moment, will be the ILS localizer 04 right. So just be a second here till we pull this up. So what I'll do is I'm just going to set the auto brake to level 2 here, and we're going to go down to see the flight management computer and start plotting this arrival. So ILS 04 left, I said it was the Pang 3. We've seen before that Bagel was one of our route points, so we're going to go via Bagel. Sounds fine. And there's no need to put banner in there. Okay, so if we go through, this is our route now. You can see we've got a vector here. There is no air traffic on at the moment, online for this. So what we need to do is just punch that up there, like so, just to connect those. A vector, usually being air traffic, will give us a few turns and everything to burn off some speed and energy. So that's good. We can flaps 30, which means we're going to be touching down at 131 knots. What we need to do now is bring up the approach plate for Midway, but just now I'm just going to punch this information in, and then I'll come back to it and explain it in just a few minutes time. So navigation 1, 111.50 in both sides. For redundancy, everything's done twice, and 047 degrees. So as far as the compass goes, the runway is 047. So for as long as our navigation's pointing on 047, we should be landing on the right runway. It hasn't been unknown to land on the wrong runway in the real world. Okay, so the noise and engines are going to go for a second until we pull up our information here with our chart. So I'll just be a second, and we'll just pull this up for you. Okay, so there we go, we have our chart cloud. So I'm going to pull up Chicago here, so Chicago Midway International Airport. Just a quick look at the airport here for you just now, just so I can demonstrate it for you. If we bring it in, so we're going to be landing on runway 04 right, which is this runway here, and the apron area is to the right. So it's a very short taxi in, sorry. So we probably expect to vacate the runway via Sierra. So if we touch down about the green line here, slow, 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 and off at Sierra. That should be good. Our approach then, the Pang 3 RNAV approach. This is essentially what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be coming in from the right hand side via Bagel, like we said. We're then going to track along here, along Pang, and this is telling us what altitudes we can expect. So there we go, expect 11,000. We continue along, there's the bay there, we'll continue along. Some alternate airports, Chicago Midway being along here, up here, sorry, up we go, and then we'll continue on this route here and come in on 04. Okay, so that's fine, because we'll continue along here and then we'll be vectored, we'll be essentially our right hand turn. So that all sounds good. Transition altitude 18,000, and we know here that our height, there's some terrain or objects that are 2,800 and 3,400 in the area, so we really don't want to descend below those altitudes, otherwise we could be in some trouble. And the chart stated as well, so it's all in date. There's nothing out of date here. Great. Approach plate then. So this is the approach chart for runway 04 right. So I mentioned we'd be coming in, doing our thing, so pretend we're trotting along here, going from right to left like we said. We're then going to make our right turn here, 047, there's that 047 there, and we're going to begin our approach here. So this is the approach glide slope, and there's the runway there, which we showed earlier. Rest of it, just ignore just now, no issue. And that 3,400 again popping up, that could potentially be an issue, so we need to be cautious of the terrain. Down here, here's our glide slope. So we're going to begin our approach at 5,000 feet. It's a number to write down. And it's a 3-degree glide down on 047 degrees. Now, if we miss our approach, or if things don't look good, or if someone ends up pulling on the runway, we're going to, at 1,100 feet, going to pull up at 1,100 feet, make a right-hand turn to 230 degrees, like so. Routing from here to Echo Oscar November, inbound to Igassi. We'll be expecting 2,100, but we'll be climbing eventually to 2,600. Okay, so we would expect to be 2,600 by Igassi here. And then what we do is we go in for our second attempt. Hopefully it won't be an issue today. The weather's looking nice down the ground in Midway. We'll tune in the ATIS in a moment and have a listen, but you should be first time lucky. So that looks all fine. Down here, minimums, so 04 right, that's the runway. Category 1 DME, so we are a Category 1 aircraft, 737, and it tells us 870. So 870 feet, we will have to decide, are we landing or are we going around? If we can't see the runway, or if there's something odd, we'll go around before that point. After 870, we've committed to the landing, so we will continue the landing. Back to the simulator now. Just get a few things we've got to do. So down here, this little green bit here, that 870, we're going to punch that in there, and that means the aircraft will shout minimums to us, essentially as a reminder that at that point, if we're not confident with landing the aircraft, or if something doesn't feel right, we'll just abort and go around. For the first officer, I've just got to write down some things here. So I said we begin our approach at 5,000, 870 was the minimums, and the missed approach 2,600. That's good. All that information looks fine. So, and we're flaps 30 landing, which is standard. So what I'll do, instead of myself doing the briefing, I'll let the first officer do the briefing.
Are you ready for the approach brief? The arrival routing will be via the ATC assigned star, compliant with all published speed and altitude restrictions. For an ILS approach, planning a flaps 30 landing. VRA is 131. Final approach fixed altitude is 5000 feet. Decision altitude is 870 feet. Missed approach altitude is 2600 feet. Taxi route in will be assigned by ATC. We'll be arriving at a gate. No APU required. We'll be using the GPU after shutdown. Descent speeds and navigation radios are set. Airport norms have been reviewed. Any questions, comments, or concerns? No questions. Approach brief complete.
Okay, so there we go. Approach briefing is completed. We're doing 280 degrees at the moment, which we can see here, and we're sat nicely at 38,000 feet. Again, this is our aircraft. The triangle represents us. TD there, which means that's our top of descent, so just beyond Bagel we'll begin our descent. It'll be a 3-degree glide slope, and that will bring us nicely all the way down. A couple of things we're going to do though, just as a good housekeeping. If we pull the runway off here, which is runway 04 right, I'm going to go to fix, hit it in, and we're just going to give ourselves some distances. So this will draw little rings around the runway at 5 miles, 10 miles, and at 30 miles. At 30 miles we have to be below 10,000 feet, and also within 30 miles we have what's called a sterile cockpit, so we wouldn't have any kind of informal chat or anything along those kind of lines. That we very much concentrate on what we're doing. And if we look quickly as well, enlarge this again, you can see there's a 30-mile ring there. So we know begin descent here at the TD, top of descent, and we'll be at 10,000 feet in a roughly around about that 30-mile ring. Quick fact for you, 80 miles, we can cross that in about 10 to 15 minutes. So we are within half an hour now of touching down. 16:52 on the clock there, and here 17:23. So yeah, within the half hour we'll be on the ground. What we're going to do just now though is just ask for the descent checklist from the first officer, just so we can check the aircraft is in a good position to begin descent, the pressurisation sorted, and that we've conducted our briefing correctly. Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
I'll go up here. 650 feet.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Brief entry.
Discussed.
IAS altitude box.
Set and checked.
Descent checklist complete.
And there we go. Descent checklist is complete. Didn't explain this before, sorry, we set it before taking off, 650. So this is our pressurization, 38,000 feet, that's the cruising level. 650 is the elevation of Chicago Midway. So we set that before we close the doors. So when the doors are closed, the aircraft is pressurized. When we land again, it will be at 600 feet above sea level. So it's pressurized to that. And here is the pressure gauges here showing cabin climb. We're not climbing, so it's set at 0. And that shows us the pressurization of the cabin. If that was in the red, then we'll be a bit concerned, but that's perfectly normal. And we'll just double check the passengers aren't too warm in the back as well. There we go, so around about 22. So both got those set to auto just now, but yeah, that's maintaining the temperature in the cabin quite nicely. Okay, so we can see we're about 23 miles to Bagel now. So what we'll do is we'll let the first officer tell the passengers we'll shortly be commencing our descent then.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we'll begin our descent to your destination here in just a moment. On behalf of the flight crew and staff, I want to thank you for flying with us today, and I hope that you choose us for all your flying needs in the future. Thank you.
There we go. Just bring that range down slightly as well, just so we can see what we're actually doing, rather than looking for a bigger picture. There's no real need right now. And there we go, coming up top of the descent now, so we'll drop us down initially to flight level 200, 20,000, and then we'll review our descent at that point. What we'll do just now actually is we're just going to tune into the ATIS, just to get an idea on what the weather is down the grounds.
Kilo Mike Delta Whiskey Airport information Oscar 1553 Zulu weather wind 09er 4 at 8 visibility 10 sky condition temperature 14 dew point 6 altimeter 3036 advise on initial contact with information Oscar Kilo Mike Delta Whiskey Airport information Oscar 1553 Zulu weather wind 09er 4 at 8 visibility 10 sky condition temperature 14 dew point 6 altimeter 3036 advise on initial contact.
Okay, so there's the weather information. We just had a quick listening to hear what's happening in the ground in Chicago, the automated weather service. So latest weather is 15:30 Zulu. There was update. It was information Oscar, which gives the identifier, so we know everyone's on the same page. Winds 094 at 8 knots, so 8 knot winds. So they're a little above the calm side, but you know, it's just a breeze really. It's nothing really well about. Greater than 10 kilometers of visibility, so we can see that from the flight deck right now. We can see about 10 kilometers. It's fine. Temperature on the ground's 14 degrees and 16 degrees dew point, so 14 degrees Celsius down the ground. Altimeter's 3036. so the pressure's a slightly bit different from when we departed. So we've just set 3036 there, just so we know to change it once we're passing through 18,000. We're changing wind there, so we haven't commenced our descent yet. We're still at 38,000 TD, just about on it, so we will be commencing our descent momentarily. Really, the aircraft's managing that just now, so it's a managed descent, and certainly we'll be taking control once we're a bit closer. And just as I say that, there we go, the engine's powering back. You can see the M1's powering back now. The nose is pitching down, and there we go, we're leaving 38,000 feet now. And you can see we have a low fuel warning actually. Pull this a bit bigger. We have 2.01 on the left and 1.99 on the right. So we just, it's not so much an emergency or problem or anything just now. It's just something to be aware of, that we burned a bit more fuel than expected, but that's due to that headwind, the 76 knot headwind we've got just now that was maybe around 90 knots at certain points, therefore slowing us down a bit and adding a bit more drag. But certainly not anything to worry about, just something to be aware of. And there we go, left-hand tank as well. You'd expect that, you want them both even. If they weren't, then it'd be a bit more of a concern. And we can see here as well, the right engine's burning slightly more fuel than the left engine, so possibly the left engine's maybe newer. That's certainly not unusual. is they're powering up slightly, as you can probably hear. That's because we're slightly on profile, so this little red, pink, sorry, or purple, magenta, whatever you want to call it really. We're right on the profile, so we're doing not too bad. And we're listening at 2,200 feet a minute, so we're getting a good rate in. What we'll do now though is we'll get the seatbelt sign on, and get people back in their seats, and let the cabin crew give them a bit more time to prep themselves. What I'm going to do just now is just hit level change and just leave it at 280. Now level change on the MCP here essentially is a function of speed, in that we're set to 280, we've hit level change, which means the throttles will idle almost, so they'll go back to more or less using no power, so it's very fuel efficient, and instead the nose of the aircraft will pitch down ever so slightly to maintain that speed. So the descent rate now, you can see it's rocketing up 2,550, we might hit 2,600 feet per minute descent rate, so we're rocketing down now towards Chicago. What I'm going to do is clear it now down to 10,000 feet, so we'll adjust it there. It'll be adjusted here on the MCP, just on the right, and it will update there on the primary flight display. And like on my side, the first officer side has the exact same. I will mention it there as well. And we can see that bay there, and just over that bay is Canada. So, don't know what I was going to say there. I think I had something else to say, but it's just completely out of my head. It's probably some dodgy America/Canada joke, but we'll just leave them off here. Okay, we're passing through 20,000, we're descending down to 10, we'll fight with 200, descending down to 10,000, 18,000 is when the transition level is, so we'll just hit this standard button now, and there we go, you can see that flip there, and that's now, because we're on 3036, which is a local pressure setting for the Chicago area. A little bit of a wing view here. It's amazing the different land class or geography of the United States from one area to the next. We left Boston and it was compact. You would never see any greenery really, and now we're coming in over continental US, and you see the squared fields. Okay, just coming up on that 30-mile radius now, so we should be at 10,000 by here, I mentioned, so better get the finger out. So what we'll do is the speed brake here, just going to pull that out and give us a bit more drag, and you can feel it as well, the air hitting off it, and we'll go to the wing view just to show. So there we go. There's the speed brakes or spoilers out there just now. Slowing the aircraft a bit more, and I mentioned them, but I've been a bit busy and congested. There we are, some residential down below. and we're just coming up on the cloud layer now as well. See the shadows here. So with that brakes out, remember we're doing 2,550 before, we're now at 3,200, well thereabouts. It's going to fluctuate, but really, you know, 3,200 feet per minute descent rate, so we're rocking down now, and Chicago coming up in front of us. So our route here, going along, making a right hand turn like we said, and there's our approach, and there's the runway there, and there's a 10 miles around the airport, and then 5 miles. First officers tell me we're going up to 10,000. There was a speed limit of 250 knots below 10,000 in the United States, so we'll adjust that now to 250. Continue the descent now to 3,000. Well, we're set at 250, so the aircraft will pitch up now to reduce the speed to 250 knots, and then we'll continue the descent. We are still slightly descending right now, so who knows, maybe we may be able to just continue it nice and smoothly. Checks. So 10 checks is just when we're passing 10,000 feet, there's various things it has to do. Like this, we set to 10 before we took off. The first officer sets it now to 10. Sorry, we set 25, which means that's how left or right we can bank. Just a cruise, you don't want to bank too much further up and about. But now, if you want to see it, we can bank a bit more and do a bit more steeper turns, to be honest, lower to the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat back
and there's the cabin crew telling
in the right position. Make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened and all carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or to overhead bin. Please turn off all electronic devices until we are safely parked at the gate. Thank you.
See the metropolis that is Chicago now in front of us. The greenery slowly dripping away. Okay, so come up 20 miles. Yes, that's the people there coming from the cabin crew, and then we're coming in. Some nice housing estates and so on, or suburbs. There's a quarry or something over there as well, just below the right wing. There we go. And we can see the shadow of the plane there as well over the suburbs as we descend in. All 3D buildings and everything. It's amazing this now, considering what simulators used to be like and so on. Stow those speed brakes now, so we'll bring them back in. I'll put them in the arm position, so it means when we land the speed brakes will come out. So we've just got 3,000. So we've actually descended a bit faster than really required, but better to be down and a bit lower than too high, having to circle and whatnot. Okay. So there we go there. It's fairly busy suburbs. And we're following this highway, sorry, American terms here. We're following this highway up here as well, more or less, just now. It's almost running parallel to what we're going to be flying. So we're flying straight, but it's almost there. It's quite interesting, that chart there, isn't it? This is using vector data from OSM, so it's spot on the roads, so it must do that in real world. Interesting. I need to go out to Chicago and do a high-roller plane or something, see if that is that way. Nevertheless. Okay, coming up on Timley now, we're going to drop the speed back to 210, we'll go for. And what we'll do now is we'll take us off the lateral navigation, and we'll set the heading for 330 degrees. So, coming in on the approach a bit more now. Go that nice wing view there. There we go. And you've got the shadow there, the far left, just going off screen. And the noise, the turning noise, the clicking noise you can hear is the trim wheel as the aircraft's trimming itself. And we're just coming along here, and then we'll make another right turn onto our approach. And we're going to start dropping the flaps now as well. So what I'll do is I'll go to the wing view and show you the leading slats. Flaps 1.
Speed checked.
Okay, so if you watch, you'll see the leading slats here begin to move in a moment, increasing surface area of the wing and increasing lift at low speeds. There we go. So that's them locked in the position now. Perfect. And you can see the wing bouncing up and down a little bit with some wing flex and flexing. Drop the speed back to 180 now. And we'll bring in the right turn again now to heading off 360, or all the zeros. And what we'll do now as well, we'll hit the approach modes just on the right hand side, which will line us up. The aircraft picks up the navigation data from the airfield, and now it's going to get a little bit busy in here. Flaps 5.
Speed checked.
We're turning right round, so we'll change heading now to 047, and the airfield will be round there.
Cabin crew, seats for landing.
And we know from this 10 miles, we're now 10 miles from the airport, so we are now on our final approach into Chicago Midway. Flaps 10.
Speed checked.
Drop the speed to 160. Wing view, and you can see the flaps are fairly come down now compared to what they were like previously. And we're going to stay in the cockpit now because I've actually got things to do. Flaps 15, landing checklist of flaps.
Speed checked.
Okay, so we're dropping the landing gear down now.
Flaps 10.
We can see the runway.
15. Engine start switches. Glide slope.
Continuous. Checked. Armed.
Speed brake.
Down 3 green. Level 2 set.
Holding at flaps.
130, so we'll slow down at 140 now. Flaps 25.
Speed check.
Self-positioned.
Flaps 25.
Flaps 30. Cleared.
Speed checked. Check.
We're now fully configured for approach and landing.
Flaps 13.
Complete the checklist. 30, 30,
Flaps.
green light. There's the runway.
Landing lights.
On.
Landing
And we're bringing out the autopilot now, 1500 feet. So that's the auto throttles. I've got control, and we'll hear the noise in a moment as I take the autopilot out.
Check.
I have control. Okay, now I'm manually flying the airplane now. And we can see the city of Chicago in front of us as well, which is looking nice. Okay. So we pick up a little bit of rough air as we get close to the ground, what's called ground effect. Slightly left of the approach here now. Quick little adjustment and we'll be able to do that. So now my left hand's on the control column and right hand's on the throttles as we fly the airplane down into the ground for a controlled crash, otherwise known as a landing. A bit industrial round about Chicago Midway, as I said. We're here being the international hub for Chicago. Anyway, less than 1,000 feet. We actually do some work.
Right.
500.
Check.
Continue.
Approaching minimums.
Landing.
Minimums.
Landing.
Check.
A little bit of wind.
100.
Light slow.
20. 10.
Press dust.
Speed brake up. Reversers normal.
Check.
100 knots. 80 knots.
Manual braking.
Feet remaining.
Auto brake disarm. 60 knots.
Okay, you clean up.
Check.
And there we go, that's how to land an airliner. So we just need to taxi along here now, and we'll get ourselves parked here in Midway.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your safety, come first. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. This will indicate that we have parked at the gate and it is safe for you to move around. Please check around your seat for any personal belongings you may have on board. Please use caution when opening seat covers in. Sensitive articles may shift during flight. We remind you to please wait until your assignment terminal.
Master caution. Anti-ice.
No
section.
teats, and out.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip. We look forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Hope you have a nice day.
There we go, we're going to take one of those stands there. There we go, just short of a 1,000-mile trip. Equivalent, if you're in Europe, of flying, say, from Glasgow to Palma in Mallorca. But there we go, relatively nice firm landing right at the front of the runway. Slowed down quite quick and off at the right spot. As we said in the chart before, we were going to be off at Juliet, and we were off at Juliet, so that's the main thing there. Okay, take this stand here. Turn the taxi lights off now, because we're about to turn on to stand. And there we go. Let the nose creep out first. We're a bit longer, and then we come. And there you go. You can see shadows of passengers moving about, waiting for this aircraft, no doubt. Very nice clear day here in Chicago. So we'll set the parking brake, shut down engine 2, which is the right hand engine, which allows the ground crew to then connect the power units. And the first officer's got that, so I can shut down engine 1 now. And we'll go ahead now and shut down the fuel pumps. Take off the anti-collision light, we've stopped. Bring off the pumps, hydraulic pumps. Done the SEER, we have ground power, that's all good. And we'll switch off the seatbelt sign and we'll tell the cabin crew that everyone can get off. Cabin crew, doors may be opened. And there we go. There's the air bridge moving quite dangerously towards the cockpit. So unlike Boston, we just had a set of stairs, we've got an air bridge this time. Spot on. There we go there. And there's the ground tugs moving out to help get the aircraft all unloaded. And there's the city of Chicago in the background as well. Can't get any more scenic than that. Well, thanks so much for joining us on this service, the flight we've had there from Boston to Chicago Midway. A few faults, trip-ups along the way, and a few tech issues in Boston before we took off, but we managed to get off on time. We arrived in Midway. Our SMA time was meant to be 25 past the hour, so we only arrived a couple of minutes behind schedule, but yeah, spot on. Maybe streaming later on, might take the aircraft down to Palm Springs in California. Brilliant approach there with the mountings and everything. And yeah, we'll see what happens.